In the brutal theater of the Second World War, amidst the thunder of artillery and the screams of the dying, one figure emerged from the shadows, a silent harbinger of death. Her name was Lyudmila Pavlichenko, but to the soldiers of the German army, she was known simply as Lady Death. With 309 confirmed kills, she remains the most successful female sniper in history. But this is not just a story of numbers. It is the story of a young woman whose life was irrevocably changed by the tides of war. A history student who became a legend, etched in gunpowder and steel. Our story begins, not on the battlefield, but in the quiet halls of Kiev University. In 1941, Lyudmila was a bright, ambitious student, her mind filled with historical dates and ancient civilizations. She was a scholar, a sharpshooter in a university club, but her future seemed destined for academia. Then, on June 22nd, everything changed. The German invasion of the Soviet Union began, and the bombs that fell on Kiev didn't just shatter buildings, they shattered a generation's dreams. Lyudmila watched her world burn, and in the ashes, a fierce resolve was forged. When she went to the recruiting office, the officers were skeptical. They saw a young woman and suggested she become a nurse. But Lyudmila was adamant. She presented her marksmanship certificates, her skill with a rifle already honed. They were impressed, but still hesitant. War was a man's world, yet Lyudmila's determination was unyielding. She refused to be sidelined. Finally, they handed her a rifle and pointed to two Romanians collaborating with the Germans some distance away. It was a test, a brutal audition. Without hesitation, Lyudmila raised her rifle, sighted her targets, and took them down. Her war had begun. She was officially enlisted in the Red Army's 25th Rifle Division. Her first real taste of combat came in the fields near Bali. The raw, terrifying reality of war was a stark contrast to the shooting range. She recalled later how her hands trembled, how fear threatened to paralyze her. Beside her, a young soldier, barely a boy, was struck down by an enemy bullet. Seeing him fall, something inside Lyudmila snapped. The fear was replaced by a cold, burning rage. In that moment, the student died, and the sniper was born. She raised her rifle and took her first 2 official kills. There was no stopping me after that, she would later say. From that day forward, she hunted with a chilling efficiency. Lyudmila was not just a sharpshooter. She was a brilliant tactician. She understood the psychology of her enemy. One of her most revolutionary tactics was the bait and switch. She would work with a partner who would deliberately expose a piece of equipment, a helmet on a stick, a flashing bayonet, to draw the enemy sniper's fire. The moment the German sniper revealed their position by taking the shot, Lyudmila, hidden in a separate, carefully chosen location, would deliver the fatal countershot. It was a deadly game of chess played across no man's land, and Lyudmila was its grandmaster. She spent hours, sometimes days, motionless in her hide, enduring freezing cold, sweltering heat, and constant danger. Patience was her greatest weapon, second only to her Mosin-Nagant rifle. Her reputation grew with every kill. The Germans knew her, feared her. They tried to lure her out, broadcasting messages over loudspeakers, promising her comfort and rewards if she would defect. But Lyudmila only listened, using the sound of their voices to pinpoint their locations. Her legend reached its zenith during the grueling 8-month siege of Sebastopol. The city was a fortress, a symbol of Soviet resistance, and the fighting there was some of the most intense of the war. It was here that Lyudmila engaged in her most famous duel. The German High Command, desperate to eliminate the threat she posed, sent one of their own top snipers to hunt her down. He was a specialist, brought in from Berlin with a single mission: kill Lady Death. For 3 days, a tense and silent battle unfolded in the ruins of Sebastopol. It was a duel of wits, patience, and pure skill. Both were masters of camouflage and concealment. They stalked each other through the rubble, each waiting for the other to make the slightest mistake. Lyudmila studied the terrain, the light, the habits of the birds. On the 3rd day, she spotted a flicker of movement, a glint of light from beneath a rock in front of the enemy bunker. Her opponent had made his fatal error. She waited. He shifted slightly, revealing himself for a split second. It was all the time she needed. Her bullet found its mark. When she examined his rifle, She found his logbook. He had over 400 kills on the Western Front, but on the Eastern Front, his tally ended at 1. By the time she was wounded by mortar fire in June 1942, Lyudmila Pavlichenko had 309 confirmed kills, including 36 enemy snipers. Considered too valuable a symbol to risk losing in combat, she was pulled from the front lines. Her war was over, but a new mission was about to begin. The Soviet Union needed its allies to open a second front in Europe to relieve the pressure on their forces. Who better to make the case than a true hero of the war? Lyudmila was sent on a goodwill tour to the United States, Canada, and Great Britain. Her arrival in America was a culture shock. She was a battle-hardened soldier, and the American press seemed more interested in the length of her skirt and whether she wore makeup on the front lines. One reporter asked if the uniform made her feel fat. Frustrated by the trivial questions, Lyudmila's patience wore thin. In a fiery speech in Chicago, she finally spoke her mind. Standing before the crowd, she said, "Gentlemen, I am 25 years old, and I have killed 309 fascist invaders by now. Don't you think, gentlemen, that you have been hiding behind my back for too long?" A stunned silence fell over the crowd, followed by a roar of applause. Her blunt words cut through the political niceties and delivered the harsh reality of the war. During her tour, she formed an unlikely and lasting friendship with First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt. Mrs. Roosevelt saw past the uniform and the fearsome reputation. She saw the young woman who had been forced to endure unimaginable horrors. She invited Lyudmila to the White House, and they toured the country together. Two powerful women from vastly different worlds, united by a common cause. This friendship was a testament to Lyudmila's character, a glimpse of the person behind the legend. After the war, Lyudmila returned to her studies, completing her degree at Kiev University. She worked as a historian and was active in the Soviet Committee of War Veterans, but the war never truly left her. The memories, the faces of the fallen, both friend and foe, stayed with her. She was a hero, adorned with the gold star of the hero of the Soviet Union, the nation's highest honor. But she was also a survivor, forever marked by the conflict that had defined her youth. Lyudmila Pavlichenko's story is a powerful reminder that heroes can come from the most unexpected places. She was not born a killer. She was a scholar who answered her country's call in its darkest hour. She was a woman who entered a man's domain and proved herself not just an equal, but a master. Her legacy is not just in the number of her kills, but in her courage, her resilience, and her unwavering determination in the face of tyranny. She was Lady Death to her enemies, but to history, she is a symbol of incredible strength and a testament to the human spirit's capacity to endure, to fight, and to overcome. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell for more stories of the incredible figures who shaped our world. See you next time.